Here are 5 things that I've used to drastically increase my income as an employee. Matthew Arthur, side businesspreneur. We're going to jump into it. Now, what you're not going to hear is this: work hard, or fake it till you make it, or think outside the box. Those clichés, I don't really think they specifically have helped me, so I'm not going to talk to them. Now, we're going to go through the five, or not the five of the things that I believe have helped me drastically increase my income, climb the ranks, if you will, as an employee to provide more value and make some more money for myself and my family. And there's going to be a bonus at the end as well. So make sure you stay around for that. So the first thing that I think has served me a lot, and to be clear, I don't always do all of these things exceptionally well, and I haven't always done these things exceptionally well. I've always got to improve. But the first thing is self-motivate. So a manager's job is to essentially get the most value from the employees underneath them, right? Now, a lot of the times, managers have to motivate their staff. That's one of the problems they have to focus on. You can alleviate that and provide immense value by you just being self-motivated. So I'm going to tell you a quick story on this. So this really hit home for me when I had some contractors working for my side business, one of my side businesses, digital marketing. And I was running some initiative, activity. I cannot remember what it was for the life of me. But the idea was to kind of motivate, to get a bit more of the action that I needed to help grow that business from the team members. And one of the team members was on a phone call with me, and we were having a chat, and he said about this initiative. He said, "Oh, by the way, just so you know, I don't really find that motivating." Now, of course, it's like, okay, cool, noted. I'm sure there's a lot more I could do better as a leader. That's all good. But what that reminded me, okay, let me take a step back. When I heard that actually decreased my perceived value of that team member. Why? Because I thought, okay, cool, good to know. But then I also thought, just do your job. Like, even if we're doing initiatives and stuff, like if you're that good, you don't need something to be motivated with, And this really hit hard for me because when I was an employee, well, I am still an employee, but when I was in one of my older roles, and I'm not as cool as I am now, I wasn't as cool as I am now, not that I'm that cool, but and occasionally rephrase that, I wasn't providing as much value to the business. I didn't have the right mindset with things that I lacked an understanding. I remember once I was speaking to one of my old managers, and this role, the manager had assigned me some cool activities or cool projects to work on. And I made a comment along the lines of, oh yeah, and I really need those, something along the lines of, I really need those extra things that really helps you with being engaged. And that might sound all well and good, but kind of I think if I'm honest with myself, what I think I was trying to say there was essentially, hey manager, I want this variety. So please give that to me and I'm trying to signal to you as the manager that's going to help you do your job better because it's going to keep me more engaged. Now, even though that's true, that is something that someone who is not providing as much value to the business would say. So instead, you want to be the person, in my opinion, that is just constantly self-motivated no matter what. Your manager never has to think about motivating you because you manage that yourself. Probably more I could say on that, but I'm going to keep this video brief, so we'll move on. If you want me to expand on anything that I found in my personal experience, feel free to ask in the comments. Happy to answer those questions or potentially make a second video. So in the interest of brevity, let's go on to the next one. The second is prioritize high-value activities. It's only the last 2 or 3 years, really, that I've really, I think, gotten a lot better at this. So I'm an organization freak. I like to be really structured. So I would plan my day, plan my to-do list for the next day. And I was super attached to that in hindsight. So when my manager would come with something like, hey, we need to work on this, we need to look at this, I would be more attached to what I put on my Google Calendar because I wanted to feel like I was in control of my day. They're the tasks that I wanted to do, not understanding and prioritizing that, hey, in this day, there's something that's probably of higher value that I need to work on. Now, how do you prioritize high value activities? First, you need to gain an understanding of what provides value to the business. A very easy hack for this, by the way, is whatever your manager is indicating is important, that's the high value activity, I would say, as a general rule, if in doubt. So, and you might say, but Matt, what if my manager's allocating things to me that aren't as high value to the business? I think they're low value. Well, first things first, you need to understand that your manager, their time and their energy is more valuable to the business than yours is, as a general rule. Yes, there might be some exceptions. Maybe you're a gun salesman and you're getting paid heaps of commissions more than your manager because you're bringing in lots of sales. Okay, cool. What if you're a lethal trader who's doing some really cool trades, and you might be bringing in more monetary value to the business than your manager in that case? Sure. As a general rule, apart from those kind of roles, as a general rule, if it's not obvious, your manager's time and energy, them as a resource, is more valuable to the business than you are. That's why they're higher up as your manager. They've got more influence. They've probably got more experience. They've got more understanding. They know more what's going on. They can provide more impact as a general rule. So, if your manager has something on their desk that they have to handle, you taking that to free up your manager to work on the higher value things, and also just to love the fact that you're making their life a heck ton easier, is a high value activity. General rule of thumb, like your manager, this is what I found, your manager is really the biggest vehicle to help you. Because if the business ever is doing a review around how good you are as an employee, who are they going to speak to? They're going to speak to your manager. Your manager has the biggest amount of influence. You want to make your manager's life a lot easier. So that's the general rule I would say, is if you get the feeling that your manager wants something prioritized, just do it. Now we're going to move on to the third thing. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm sort of just applying the things that have worked for me and that I try to implement. So if I'm using language that sounds like I'm telling you what to do, I'm really kind of just telling myself in a way. You can do what you want with this information. Third, I think this is huge, but I think, in fact, this is probably something that I would say is one of the biggest things that has helped me progress through my career fast. I've still got a lot to do, but this thing. Number 3, do what others won't. Or another way of phrasing it, do what others aren't willing to do. I got another story for you. So when I was working in hospitality, and I was doing my law degree at the time, and I was speaking with someone else who was working in hospitality, and I think he was doing engineering. He was studying engineering. We were talking about the concept of studying engineering. And I said, oh, it's good. You know, engineers, they get paid a lot of money. And he said, yeah, that's because nobody else wants to do it. And you think of plumbers. Who wants to clean the pipes with all who knows what in those pipes in a house? They get paid lots of money. So as a general rule, the things that people don't want to do is where the value is. So when opportunities come up for things that you probably don't want to do, balanced with, focus on high value activities, by the way. And remember everything I said about what your manager needs prioritized, generally that's a high value activity. If you do that and you focus on doing this consistently, I can almost guarantee you will stand out. Because if you're doing what others won't do or aren't willing to do, you're already making yourself more indispensable. You're making yourself stand out there. And if you can just build up your reps of that, so you just become the person, I don't care if others don't want to do it. I don't care if this is a rubbish job. If the work needs doing, I'm going to do it. That'll help. I think it's helped me. The 4th thing, kill comfort. Also known as get out of your comfort zone, but that was way too cliche for me to say, so I'm going to say kill comfort. Kind of ties into point 3 there a little bit. However, one thing that I've really found is that a lot of people, they want to stay within what they're good at. And that makes sense in some ways, staying in your specialty, things like that. But there are a lot of opportunities to work on something new or something that's going to come with some sort of risk. Something where you could stuff it up, or something where you've got to figure it out. I got to figure this thing out. What do? Maybe it's just my manager and me, whatever. A lot of people I've noticed that's way too uncomfortable for me. That scares me. So again, it's kind of a double up to point 3. I would say 3 and 4. They're kind of very similar. But kill that thing. So when something comes along that isn't uncomfortable, but it's an opportunity. Just if you can try to make how comfortable it is eliminate that as a factor in your decision of whether to take it on, I think that'll help you a lot. Finally, this isn't just all of the things, by the way, but this is the fifth line that came to mind, is never take things personally. My golly gosh, that's a lot easier said than done. Now, I've got some notes on this one. So, okay, I've got another story. I think this is a really cool story. So I was watching a podcast recently, and I think it might have been with the author of Never Split the Difference, the ex-FBI hostage negotiator, Chris Voss. I think it might have been him. Don't quote me on that. Whoever it was, he was talking about how these US operatives, CIA maybe, they're professionals trained in creating coups, creating uprisings. And whoever this person was said it's actually relatively easy to do. He was talking about the concept where, let's say you've got a crowd, you strategically would place different people with megaphones in the crowd that seem to not be related, but then they will start talking concepts, probably against the government or whatever, to get people riled up. Now, when it's just one person on a megaphone, everyone in the crowd's thinking, oh, he's just this guy on a megaphone. But then when they see another guy on the megaphone over there who's saying the same things and getting angry about the same things, but you don't realize that they're actually part of the same operation, you think that they're actually independently saying the same things, you start going, oh my gosh, what is this? There must be something here. Then a third person on the megaphone happens, and before you know it, the crowd is influenced by anger, and they are in total control of the operatives with the megaphones. Now, how does that tie into here? That ties into here because if you allow yourself to take things personally and then you get emotionally affected, real talk, you're being somewhat controlled by those people. Because, as we know, with these operatives, right? How do they get these coups happening? They get people emotionally riled up. They control them through emotions. Now, the people in your workplace might not have the same intent. They might not even have any intent. That's besides the point. The point is, if you allow yourself to be controlled by negative emotions, something else is controlling you to a degree. That's not you. Now, I don't know about you, but I like being in control, and I don't like other people controlling me in really any way, shape, or form. So, let me look at my notes here. Cool. So, what I think I found is in a scenario where you could take things personally, there's usually two main things that have happened. There's two main scenarios. So, the first scenario is that someone has said something with good intent, but you've taken it the wrong way. The second scenario, I'm going to look at my notes again. Yeah, the second scenario is someone has said something with bad intent and you've understood correctly. Now, how are you to know which one it is? You technically don't. Most of the time. So if it could be either of those options, why not assume the more positive option, which is, hey, maybe the person just says something and I kind of took it the wrong way, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. 99% of the time, why don't you just do that? Why not? What's the harm in that? Now, yes, there might be times where, okay, someone is maybe saying it a lot of the time. They're doing things a lot of the time, and you can tell, okay, there's some bad intent here. In that case, what I try to do is, if we're even in the other situations, like not everything they say might be trying to be manipulative or something. So most of the time, I might just assume it's just a psycho one. Who cares? But maybe what you could do is just file it away, and you can use that information for yourself, however you act. But I would say what I found helpful is to really ruthlessly not allow other people to affect my emotions, because I don't want to give them any control. Hope that helps. I'm sure there's a lot more. How would you say it? Useful and more thought through instructions or manuals on that. But that's kind of a brief sort of shallow thinking version, I think, of how I do it. Now, bonus, the sixth one. What's the bonus? Here's the bonus. It's going to blow your mind. It might not blow your mind. One of the things that has really helped me earn a lot more as an employee and be a much more, I think, high-value employee than I used to be. And by the way, there's a lot of employees who are way more valuable than I am. So just more valuable than I used to be clear. The bonus, I'm going to write it here. Start a side business. Now, you might think, Matt, what are you talking about? Starting a side business? I'm trying to focus on my career here. When you start your own business, even small, you will gain, or at least I gained a lot more understanding of how business works and just gained a lot more commercial awareness, if you will. I'm going to look at my notes here because I had a few things here. Yes, so I learned the different parts of what runs a business. So, here you go. Sales. If you don't work in sales, you will always think, what are the sales guys doing? What are the sales strategies doing? Oh, they keep selling things that so hard to deliver, they're making our life difficult. When you run your business, you understand that if you don't get sales, your business is not going to survive. So you understand the importance of this, even if you don't have a sales role. Really important in my opinion. You understand operations. So you understand that, hey, we got to provide a great service. This is really important. And then, of course, finance. You got to have cash flow. You got to be profitable. When you understand things at a small scale, you will be able to apply this at your job because you understand how the company's operating at a big scale, and you'll be able to understand, okay, the business is doing this, or we're working on this. I think I provide maximum value by approaching it this certain way. I think I'll look at my notes. I've got anything else there? Okay, yes. So that was one thing. So gaining a deeper commercial understanding just in business in general. The other thing is also, I learned a lot from this through my side business, when I had some team members or contractors working for me, doing stuff for me. So when you have that as well, you will learn what makes exceptional team members or what provides exceptional value. And you will actually learn what doesn't provide much value, or actually what's the negative. Remember how I told you that story of how when I was talking about self-motivating, that story of the team member saying, it's not motivating. It's like, that doesn't provide much value to the business. But to be clear, this isn't having shot that team member. That team member did a lot of good things. So that team member also closed some really good deals and brought in revenue to the business. So that provided immense value. So then you'll learn, okay, cool. Saying things like, it's not motivating, that doesn't provide value. Actually bringing business in, that's value. And there's obviously other ways you can provide value. To be clear, my day job is not being a salesperson. It's different. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hope this helped. Again, I'm not saying it's the only way. It's just, I think these are 5 things that have personally helped me do a lot better as in my day job than I am now. And that's pretty much it. See you next time. Ta, bye.